In this segment of APA Insights, the focus will be on the use of quotation marks. The material covered is found in paragraphs 4.07 and 4.08, pages 91 through 92 of the Publication Manual of the American Psychological Association. The objectives for this segment are the following. Review the rules for how to use quotation marks, both single and double, followed by an opportunity to apply the material that has been covered. Merriam-Webster defines quotation marks as punctuation mark used to indicate the beginning and the end of a quotation, where the exact phrasing or text is directly cited. Let's start by looking at when to use double quotation marks. Double quotation marks are used when you want to introduce a word in your text that is ironic, slang, or an invented expression. In this example, his outburst was considered, quote, normal, unquote, behavior means that it really wasn't normal. Only use the quotation marks the first time the word is used. Double quotation marks are used to set off a title when it is cited in text. That title may be an article or a chapter in a periodical or book, as shown in the example. Reproducing material from a test or quoting exact instructions to participants also calls for the use of double quotes. In this example, the first question on a test is cited word for word, thus requiring the double quotations. If a quote is more than 40 words, the quote is placed into an indented block and no quotation marks are used. In this case, material quoted within the quote uses a double quotation mark. There are times when single quotation marks are needed, and that is when there are quotes within a quote. In this case, use single quotation marks to offset the material. In the example, note that placebo effect is offset by single quotes, while the quotation itself is offset by double quotes. There are times when italics are used instead of quotation marks, such as when identifying anchors of a rating scale. Italics are also used in linguistic examples. In this example, we see that the speaker is clarifying the difference between two words, there, T-H-E-I-R, and there, T-H-E-R-E. Italics are also used to introduce a technical or key term in writing. For example, the term work engagement or zero-based budgeting are terms that are introduced and then explained later in the writing. Hedging is a common practice where the writer avoids commitment. In this case, it's not really clear if those tokens are a reward or not. Therefore, no quotation or any other form of punctuation should be used. When using quotation marks, whether single or double, there are a few rules to remember with respect to periods and commas. Periods and commas should be placed within closing single or double quotations, as shown in the example. Punctuation marks that are not periods or commas should only be inside the quotation marks when they are part of the quoted material. Otherwise, punctuation marks that are not periods or commas go outside of the quotation marks. For your reference, all of these guidelines are covered in the APA Style Guide, 6th edition, paragraphs 4.07 and 4.08, pages 88-89. Now, a brief exercise will be distributed to check your understanding of the use of quotation marks.